Howdy, this is Rob from the Jonah Project. You know, the guy that tells the story about the whale and the guy. The whale wanted to kill the guy wanted to kill the whale, and he had this harpoon and the whale would like jump at his boat and stuff. No, I'm sorry, that was the Dickie Mo Project. This is the Jonah Project. Jonah Project's a little bit different. The reason it has the name Jonah Project is because I've been drugged here, kicking and screaming to tell you a story that's a whole lot nastier than the Moby Dick or the Dickie Mo story could ever be. But it's true. It's about a human being, that being me. Now, this is the Suicide Prevention Month. It should be always that suicide prevention. This is something I should have done 20 years ago. But when you expose yourself, when you open yourself up, and you tell things, and you talk about real, cogent, non-game playing things, it's scary. And I've wanted to do this since I survived walking out of a hospital in 1996. It was the last time I was in. I had this thing called manic depression. And praise Yah, I have sort of, I guess say, outgrown it. I'm old now, and I'm a whole lot better. I've learned a lot of coping skills, and I've used some very specific means of learning how to deal with circumstances. With all that stuff being said, even if I didn't have what they call this manic depression thing, I had a really rough life, a horror show life. Torture, guns at your head, sexual abuse, satanic ritual abuse, just crazy things, horrible things. And who wants to go talk about that kind of stuff? I've always been a private person. I survived horrors. I've shared it at church. I've shared it amongst friends. I always had the desire to share it out in the open because I realized that, like myself, there are so many kids that have come from broken homes. Now, my father was from a broken home. My mother wasn't. He was from a broken, his mother didn't know exactly who her father was, and he was told that his father wasn't his, and there was a lot of abuse. So it was all broken. It's levels of brokenness. And then I come along, and I'm just sort of jumped to the side, root hog or die poor. But yet, I've survived the whole ordeal. And that's what the story's about. It's about survival. And what I learned more than anything else is the way to survive is to have peace of mind. Now, I realize I'm not going to ever have any great wealth, but the wealth I have is peace of mind. Wealth I have is, flowers, trees, and fish, a little fountain in the background. What there is the sunshine today, and a faith that just goes beyond end. Now, I'm not here to drum in some religious stuff to you. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you a story, and it's going to have some nasty things. This is not a kid's channel. It's not something that you want your children listening in on. But if you've had horrors done to you, you think you're alone with it, you don't have anyone to talk to, well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to try to let you know you're not alone. You may have even had some worse circumstances happen. But what I'm here to tell you is you don't have to live like you're by yourself. And you don't have to join the Me Too movement. During all this circumstance we've had with Me Too's and That Too's and whatever Too's, I've kept my mouth shut. I'm a private person. Until recently, I didn't even have an email. I don't carry a phone. I don't think phones are smart. People are. Phones are tools. They're machines. People used to be the smart ones. Anyway, I'm not the kind of person that likes to connect or be connected. I'm very private. A lot of that's driven from my background. I'm from a tech background. Specifically physics, electrical engineering, a lot of mathematics, computer science. I've seen what what education, lack of education, technology, and a bunch of other just really nasty things drive what we've gotten ourselves into. And it's just a state of unhappiness. It's a state of insanity. It's a state of something that's not even real anymore. I started sort of backing out in the late 70s. I did the come out over my people thing. Even though I went ahead and, spent another, goodness, 10, 15 years in university life and climbing the ivory tower and having desire for all those wonderful mental, egotistical things that as human beings that we look for. But I ran up against a wall, and that wall had to do with manic depression, not having family, just being stuck in a mess, never being allowed to be a child. And I know there's a lot of you out there that have dealt with this. I spent a great amount of time in hospitals, places where the guys wore white coats and they had rubber rooms and the whole bit. So we don't want to go there anymore. Haven't been since 1996. I'm 58 now, so praise Yah, I've survived this ordeal. And I'm a happy person, and it's to my sin, and it's to my horrible fear that I haven't done this before. But I honestly stayed away from the technology aspect. I knew what was going on. I've kept up with it. I haven't stopped my study or my endeavors. I won't stop learning until there's no life left in me. That's just how I am. I'm really worried about people, and I shut myself off for way too long to at least tell my experience and how I survived it. Now, a large part of what I did was, since I was born before the technology period like we have, I was alone. I was a loner. I was, what do you call them, people that I was one of those. I had my books, I had my faith, and I was alone, except for the woods and the couple of friends I had. And most of that was lots of woods, lots of hunting and fishing, and that's part of what saved me too, is just the creation. We're part of it. We're nothing but dirt. So when we get involved in dirt, it's not a bad thing. Anyway, I guess what I'm here to say is please let me share with you. And I use writing to share. There was a time when I couldn't talk to another person. I was just too shy. So I use writing. And part of what the program that I went through was just something that came natural. I've been writing since I was in the 5th or 6th grade. Teachers seemed to pay attention to it and read it in class, and over time I just kept writing, and I realized it released things. When you write, you bring it out in front of you, and somehow you read it, it goes back in you, and it magically disappears. It helped me deal with what was going on. When you have something trapped inside of you, like molestation, rape, violence, horrors that you've really told nobody, and I still have things I haven't told anyone, but I've written about all of them. As far as I know, I've written about everything. Now, you may have to look between the lines, but that's what helped heal me. That was the healing thing, was to bring something out, be able to take it back in, process it, and put it in the scheme. And because I did that over time, the medication, the doctors, the therapists, and all that stuff, it went away. But it was a 20-plus year experience. And it took a long time to get me even to where that 20 started. Since I'm new at all this, I understand you're supposed to give something that just sort of hooks things in and brings it in. And all I can tell you is I had a hell of a life. And if you've never been told to bend over and have some dude spread your cheeks and see if you got drugs shoved up in there before you can go back to the compound, and this isn't a prison. This is where sick people that need help are supposed to be. And I guess you hadn't lived. Anyway, hallelujah. This is Rob from the Jonah channel, and I'll figure out how to work all this stuff eventually. Hallelujah. Well, I forgot to put the poem in. I wrote this in 1993. Man, I had just been through hell. Nasty surgery. It was getting to where I could only make class maybe 2 weeks a month. And I was a senior in the physics curriculum. And it's hard by then. It really is. It's nothing to sneeze at. And I had gone so far to one side and tried to keep functioning and finish my education because, in my mind, because I was sick, I had a messed up back, my body was failing. I had to use my mind to get a job. And I would have been happy as an auto mechanic or a lawnmower repairman. But I wasn't going to do that. So my second choice was physics. My first choice, I guess, should have been ministry, because part of this whole fight has to do with that very thing. Science was my mistress. It really was my mistress, and you may not understand what I'm trying to say, but I started to idealize the creation greater than my creator. And I think that was, let's see, I'm trying to get the sun off of me. I'm trying to learn all this camera stuff. Anyway, I'll give you what I have here. It's called Treasures. Sometime I'll walk along the beach and spy a seashell, seems in my reach. Then comes along a wave, it flows back and leaves empty sand. Sometime I walk along and find nothing. Then a wave rolls in and back again. There before me on the land, an open shell and a shiny pearl. To find the jewels in life, it's not enough just to search the path. For in the higher order of things, we don't control the wind or the waves. It's often in the holding of your state, allowing time to participate. This gives the mix of God and man, so close your eyes and open your hand. I guess the whole key phrase in this whole thing is, it's often just in the holding of your state. Sometimes you have to be still, because the voices in your head run like rats. And part of what I hope I'm here to do is help you learn how to turn those things off. In manic depression, you have the highs and the lows, and the rats will run. That is the thoughts. And that's part of what almost drove me insane. Something like that. But it did lead to a lot of creativity. It led to things that were unexpected. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. A lot of people die from this illness. A lot of people die from just general depression. A lot of people die because they didn't have parents, they had no one to love them, and they've just been thrown away. And it's a real hard mixture when you sort of, I guess you could say, dealt with both of those. So anyway, can't dwell on it. You have to get rid of the anger. I've written a whole lot about that. And I got some really funny stories. I mean, really funny stories. And it's the Jonah Project. I don't want to tell it, but it's necessary because it may save somebody. And I think there was someone that went after the 1 out of the 100. The other 99 were fine, but then there's that one you have to go after. And that's what my heart's reaching out for. Anyway, this is Rob with the Jonah Project. Where is that stupid thing?